Hey everyone, welcome to the best time of the month. What is it, David?
It's our crossover with group text and Behind the Velvet Robe.
Yay, we actually have quite a bit to discuss today.
We do.
Okay, you're going to lead us off, of course, because you are our resident expert. Real Housewives of New Jersey, you think there might be a total reboot?
I think, okay, well, listen, it's getting changed up after this season. Like, the ratings are the lowest that they've ever been.
Uh-oh.
And there's toxicity and there's drama and there's a lot going on.
But toxicity and drama usually what makes the show so good.
You know, I can't, you see what the viewers say in the comments. They don't want it to be too dark, but they don't want it to be boring. I actually don't know what people want anymore. I don't think it's going to be a total reboot like New York style where we start over, but it's going to be a major cast shakeup. And I just think at the end of the day, we're not getting rid of Teresa. I keep going back to that.
And that's what the rumor is.
That rumor is out there. I think she's in danger more than she ever has been, but I just can't see them keeping other people without Teresa. I just can't.
See, I feel like especially with these shows, and when we say reboot, it's almost a misnomer.
It's a misnomer.
In the sense of it's subtracting and adding. It's bringing in fresh blood because people get bored of this because it becomes so repetitive.
Yes. I'm bored of this current season of Real.
Really?
A little bit, yeah. It's just like it's getting better. It's a short season, but it's the same old, and it really is like it's so out there, and like Bravo's aware of it and Andy's aware of it. Like, it is going to be changed. This is it. So say goodbye to some of your favorites, people.
On New Jersey.
Yeah.
Has the new New York started?
Not the second season, that first season, but the second season has not started. I found the first season of this total reboot extremely lackluster.
Really?
Now, I've had two of them on my podcast, so of
But
course
that doesn't mean they're not fantastic.
Wonderful.
But sometimes there's just not chemistry.
And Jenna Lyons is on it.
Oh, she's coming back?
She's coming back.
We love her.
We love her. You know, she just did like not an estate. She did like a yard sale of her stuff, and someone bought one of her purses. I think it was like a Balenciaga for like, these are all discounted. And 3 days later, she's cleaning it. You know, when you buy something.
Yeah.
And she found Jenna Lyons' ID for like J. Crew, like when she was like young, and she was like, this is like, right?
Oh, that's huge.
Gotta be right.
That would break the internet.
Yeah.
That would break the internet.
I wish I bought that one.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, but we're talking about, you brought up Andy. Huge celebration for what, the 15th anniversary.
Yep, of Watch What Happens. They were at the Boom Boom Room, you know, and they're doing a special now with like Luann is going to be on it and Sonia. I mean, for all the lawsuits and whispering, like Andy's doing, you know, he's in every magazine. And I mean, to me, I took this as a bigger, like Bravo is sending a message of
100%.
Like, what lawsuits, none of this matters. It's all noise. We are standing behind Andy and everything is fine.
And what's interesting is I think the noise, which they thought was going to take down Andy, backfired. And people are even more interested now on what he has to say and how he interacts with the housewives. It completely backfired.
I think so. And like, imagine if you're Andy and you act like it's all fine, but inside, you know, when something happens, you do have a moment of probably like, maybe this is my time. And now imagine if all the network stands behind you and you're like, wow, okay. It's almost like, in a way, a good thing that happened to him too,
yeah,
right? To know.
It's given him things to talk about other than what's on Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah.
I remember when the show started, and my mom was one of his first supporters and on the show very much in the beginning. And it's amazing how you go back and look at the original episodes versus now, just like, but he has so grown into who he is on the show, and now he just so owns it. And in the beginning, you look, I mean, anyone, they have fear in the beginning, and it's completely gone. Obviously, after 15 years, I certainly hope so. But it's just, it's great to see that he is owning, even with the lawsuits, he's owning it.
Yeah, he's owning it. And right, like in the beginning, there were housewives that were on the show, and now we've had Meryl Streep, we've had Oprah, I mean, Hillary Clinton, like, I mean, these are right?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen the shot ski in a while.
Yeah, we haven't. What's up with the shot ski?
I hope we'll bring that.
Interesting.
But I think he's, at this point, a juggernaut.
Yeah. I mean, he's a fixture on the late night circuit. Like
100%.
When you're doing press, you watch what happens on your list of places to stop by.
Yeah, and Below Deck Med just started again. We don't have anything to talk about yet because we're only in the first couple episodes.
Captain Sandy,
which we know she gets married because that was all over. But
Yes.
I think we see parts of that in the new season.
Okay.
The crew looks amazing.
Is Malia there back?
No, Malia's not there.
Do you
But
see how out of it I am?
I know,
with
no,
Below Deck?
Malia's not there. But Aisha's back.
Okay.
And it looks like it's going to be super good.
Okay, and I like her.
Yeah.
She's fun.
But I think this is going to be super, super. They're setting it up to be an amazing season. Now, you are Mr. Hamptons.
These days.
Yes, you're wearing a whole Hampton-esque linen moment.
I mean, I brought a little bit of Hamptons here to Los Angeles.
You were at the scene of the crime with Justin Timberlake.
This story won't go away. I don't understand it.
Because there's never really anything negative about Justin Timberlake. And I read a whole, article in some important paper, or it was like an opinion piece in the New York Times about why people are strangely enjoying that Justin Timberlake is being taken down, because they're like, he's skated through everything. The Janet Jackson, the Britney Spears, and that he's always just gotten away with, in hindsight, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry," and people are sort of taking this perverse joy in this.
They are, who's taking real perverse joy in this is Perez Hilton.
Yes.
Perez Hilton is obsessed.
Yes, and I love him. I've loved him forever. Yeah. You love him, you hate him. I know him as a person. He's a fantastic dad. He's a wonderful son to his mother. So that aside, but Perez is like living for this.
And I mean, is it because, why Perez? Why are people so, is it because they're like huge Britney Spears fans? I don't understand.
But you were literally down the street when this happened, so just walk us through this.
Down the street when this happened, I went to, first of all, American Hotel where it happened is like our regular place.
Right.
I went there the night after. Yeah, I mean, he went in, was he drinking before he got there? I mean, probably. He says he only had one drink there.
Well, and the bartender just came out confirming he only served him one drink.
Only served him one drink.
But you said one drink there.
Well, I mean, now there's this whole thing. There was like, oh, it was all alcohol. I mean, it's like vodka in a martini glass, which is my drink at American Hotel, too. I mean, it is like vodka in a martini glass chilled with a lemon or a lime twist. That is my drink. Are the glasses big? Sure. They're not bigger than anywhere else. It's a martini.
I love the fact that you had the same drink, that's your drink.
Yeah, of course.
So what happened?
So he left, and apparently now the policeman is actually now in on page 6. I don't know if you saw this, they're doing a background check on him, and they're saying he's very likes to stop a lot of people and is making a name for himself. Well, he left, and apparently he was warned, you shouldn't be drinking, you shouldn't be driving, you shouldn't be driving. I mean, then he drove. Did I tell you the rumor that he was on his way to Jimmy? Which one is the one he's friends with, Fallon. Or Kimmel? He was on the way. Jimmy Fallon lives in Sagaponack. So
and they're besties.
Besties.
But for real.
For real besties. And I think they both do like to have a drink or two, which no judgment, because I like to have a drink or two.
Or three.
Or three. But that's where, right?
Yeah,
three.
It's fine. Just don't drive.
Just don't drive. This is why I live in town, basically. Apparently he was on the way to his house. That's what the rumor is.
And what I read was he blew through a stop sign and then was weaving.
Yes.
And that's when he got pulled over. And then the story I heard was that the cop is so young that he didn't even know who Justin Timberlake was, which I think for Justin is probably the worst part of all of it.
Right. And there's something I forgot the language, something about, he said I hope this doesn't affect the tour, I guess he said. And the cop was like, what tour? And he said world tour. It's kind of funny. By the way, I'm going to see Justin Timberlake in October in New York. But just want to put that out there.
You live literally, you said 3 doors down. And you got up the next morning and it was a zoo. You saw an ABC truck here, an NBC truck, Fox, Page 6. I mean, it was
which, yes, there's a lot of celebrities in the Hamptons, but each little town is a small, quiet, like to see just media. And what's really funny is Billy Joel, who also lives right 2 seconds away, was stopped because they were literally pointed at the hotel for hours the next day. I'm like, he's gone, people. Like, I don't know what you're looking for. Why would you ever stay there at the scene of the crime? Like, Justin is long gone.
Oh, yeah.
But Billy Joel was just strolling down the street, and they stopped him, and they asked him, and he's like, Billy Joel also has had some incidents of driving in the Hamptons.
Yes,
So,
he is not innocent, nor let's just say he's well versed in this particular topic in the Hamptons.
he is well versed in this particular topic in the Hamptons, and he was smart to just say, I don't know, JT, so I'm not going to comment.
Very smart. The best part of the whole thing was that Britney Spears song "Criminal" shot up the charts like immediately.
Isn't this crazy?
But you gotta love that.
The Britney Army.
Not even the Britney Army, that people kind of get how, and I think this is part of the Taylor Swift effect, that you can send messages. They always talk about how you can send messages through your clothing. Well, apparently with these pop stars, you can send messages through your songs, and your fans will then, if you don't do it, we'll do it for you.
Yeah. I mean, Britney's just like, okay,
This is
let's
all
make
good.
a few extra dollars today. as we
Exactly, the publishing
ride- yeah.
rights. So out here in LA, all we're talking about is Ben and Jen. So there is a lot of smoke. Don't know if there's fire. I personally think there's sort of there's 2 or 3 things might be happening. And one of them I think is a little bit of a look over here instead of looking here kind of thing, which we'll get to in a minute.
We'll get to that because I heard that too.
Yeah. So first of all, so he apparently moved out of the house. Secretly, the house is supposed to be for sale. He was seen without his wedding ring, but yet they've been at events together. Apparently at the kids' graduation, all they did was air kiss. They arrived separately. They left separately. Okay, now I do know a lot of, not actors, but more directors and actors, and especially someone like Ben who's directing himself and is an Academy Award winner. Very often they are very complicated to live with during the process. They can't have distraction. And he would not be the first one that I've heard of that literally does not live at home while they're shooting.
Is he shooting a movie now?
He is shooting a movie now, or just wrapped a movie. So it could be there could be a lot of that. And during a Kevin Hart interview, this just was all over the place, which he shot which he taped months ago. He talked about how hard her level of fame is for him.
He did, yeah.
He was very open about it, and that was taped a couple months ago. He has also very openly said he does not like the cameras in her face all the time. He has openly said, she lives for this stuff.
Although lately she seems to be getting annoyed with all the everywhere she goes.
Exactly, but she self-financed a documentary about the two of them. He was not thrilled, but he did it because it's his partner. And so clearly there's been a little bit of rub, but then just this morning I saw that he was seen leaving the marital home last night. So
like at 1 a.m. or at like 4 p.m.?
Well, it was dark. I did not,
Okay.
you know what?
These are important
These are
facts,
important
like,
things. I just read that it didn't say the time. It just said he didn't
Okay.
stay over.
Okay.
But that means nothing,
That means nothing.
as far as I'm concerned.
I'm trying to make it mean something in real time. But
So,
don't
and
think
you
it
and I
means
have discussed this. There's a second school of thought, which is the documentary did not do well. Her last movie bombed, and the record did not do well, and the ticket sales are abysmal.
anything. The tour is canceled.
Well, she now had the
Right.
excuse of canceling the tour because she needs to focus on family. So
Correct.
people are saying that's the look over here. So no one's going to see that her last however many projects have been like people are over her. So they're focusing on this, and he's taking one for the team.
Yeah, and that is now, mind you, when she started dating him again, we all thought the same thing. Remember when she just broke up with A-Rod and we're like, this is a publicity stunt because, like, you know, A-Rod treated you like this, and God forbid Jennifer gets dumped or whatever, gets cheated on, which was with one of them was Madison LaCroix from Southern Charm, but that's a whole
that's a different,
right.
I mean, that's old news.
Right, that's old news. I think it's an interesting concept, right? Like, I see it both ways. Like, first of all, you knew what you were signing up for if you're Ben. Like, this is, and he was very complimentary to say, like, she means so much to so many people, and I get it. But,
And by the way, he'd already been through this once before with her.
yeah.
So he did not come in, gee, I can't believe this is happening. And they flaunted their relationship on the red carpet when they first got back together.
It's like when we're talking about Kyle and Morgan and they're at Chateau Marmont and they're at Craig's, it's like you want to be seen.
Right.
Period. I agree. So I don't know. I'm so conflicted with this because you look at the body language and you're like, this is over.
Right.
Like, he seems so just, look, it has to be hard to live with that level of fame, right?
Yeah, but he's a huge A-list movie star, but it's different. It's a different type of fame.
He might have to call up Travis Kelce and maybe give some advice for this is what your future looks like, dude.
Yeah.
Right?
But I think Travis enjoys it. There's a big difference.
I think Travis enjoys it.
Well, he was just on stage with her, so clearly he's enjoying it. And they went Instagram official and the whole thing. So they're both deep in this, but we'll get back to that.
You know, the thing is, though, so I mean, yeah, I don't know. It is working, right? Are we talking about the canceled tour that the tickets didn't sell? Are we talking about, I mean, J-Lo flopped. There was a lot of professional flops. We're not talking about it anymore. So I think there is a hint to that could be true. My whole thing is like, you will now be followed by the paparazzi single as well for a really long time, right?
Right.
He's now one of those. Like Lindsay Lohan, we'll put him in that where we've made
he
him
is
this.
way.
But you know
But,
what I
but
mean?
he was followed before
like,
her.
Yeah.
They were always getting him and the kids, and Jennifer Gardner and the kids. So, but again, it's different.
It's different.
It's different.
I really hope that it works out. I do.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and there's all those reports that she said, I don't want to be Madonna and I don't want to be 65 and alone because of my job. I just think like this is the job of being a superstar. It's not that you can't have both.
Yes.
It's just a different level.
But also, she's one of those women, and if you look at her romantic history, she loves being in love.
Yeah.
And when she's in love, she's willing to get married.
I never.
Well, Elizabeth Taylor always, what was her famous line? If I love them enough to sleep with them, I must love them enough to marry them.
It's so foreign to me. I'm the opposite. I say don't get married. I know you're engaged and it's going to be great and it's
Look
going
at
to be
you, it's going to be
wonderful.
fine. But it took me 22 years to get here.
You did not rush into it.
No, and I didn't have a bunch of marriages along the way.
Correct.
But she is one of those women who loves being in love. She really is, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But when you're Jennifer Lopez, this is the price you pay.
If this doesn't work, where do you go from here? Like you've had so many public failures, which again is not her fault, but like, right? Like how can you be in love again after this? Like this was her love.
Right. But the other thing I also feel like is the wedding was so extravagant. I almost feel like in a weird way that should comes back to bite you in the ass. It's your 20th fucking wedding or whatever. He would be her 4th or 5th husband.
Just do it quietly.
Play it low and then have a big party.
Yeah.
And they think they tried to do that when they went to Vegas, but then they posted the whole thing.
Did you see her? Where was it? She just arrived, or was it the Cannes Film Fest? Somewhere. She arrived on that boat. Was it Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week?
It's Paris Fashion Week, but then she's also been spotted now in Italy.
But like arriving on that boat and someone's playing the J-Lo music. I don't know if it's the doc or her, but like that is not someone who's upset with all of this attention.
No. It's going to be very interesting how the whole thing plays out. One of my favorite topics. Ha ha.
Taylor?
No.
Oh.
Nepo babies.
Oh, yes.
As I say, it might get you the interview, but it's not going to get it might help you get in the door, but it's not going to get you to keep the job. And Kevin Costner is under huge fire for this.
Yeah.
For putting his son in his new movie.
Yes.
But I thought what he came out saying, what was great was his son was really good in it. It was a very small part. And as Kevin Costner said, I got to spend 2 weeks with my son. And anyone who has a teenager or even a preteen knows, if you have to pay them to spend 2 weeks with you, you will do it.
Right.
So there's something I kind of loved about his answer, which was sort of thumbing their nose at, A, he's great in it, B, it's a small part, and I got to spend time with my son. Shut up.
Yeah, I think because first he said, I understand this is taking away from all the actors that want a part, but yeah, But
it was a teeny part.
I still don't understand all the outrage on the Nepo babies. Like, again, you have spoken about this before. It's like, if your father is an accountant that owns an accounting firm of 5 people and you major in accounting, you're going to work at the firm and take it over, period. If your mother is a doctor in a family practice and you're a doctor, you're going to take it over. Like, that is just how it works.
You still at one point have to step up with the goods.
Right.
And I can't believe I'm saying this, Blue Ivy Carter.
Yeah.
Not only does her mom have the fun of having her daughter on the road, wow, this girl, she's got the talent.
She has the talent. I mean, to make a much older reference for all of our older listeners listening, basically my age and your age, on the Madonna tour that I just attended several times, her children are in the show. Like, her son David dances, plays the guitar. Like, I mean, he is good. Her daughter plays the piano on one song. Her other daughter vogues. The younger Stella is like voguing like as good as the mother could. Like, you're like, I can never do this. So I know that's an older reference.
Well, I thought you were going to go. I thought you were going to go with Judy Garland and Liza Minnelli.
No, not that whole.
But again, same thing. And Liza Minnelli's dad was a major director. So I mean, we can trace Nepo babies all the way back, but the ones that last are the ones that can actually do it. I mean, I just saw a clip of Blue Ivy, and I was like, holy shit, this kid is talented.
Blue Ivy is very talented. Now, I mean, of course, we also had a lot of stuff with Northwest. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I felt so bad for her. She looked confused and scared, and then she's off key, and she had no confidence. Like, I actually felt really bad for North, but that's the only person I felt bad for.
It's like, what's the next idea of Skims? Whatever that is, Kim should just quietly give it to North and say, this is your idea. Go speak up about it.
And just because you want to do something doesn't mean you can do something because or should do something.
Yeah.
Your dad's super creative and maybe you're not a performer.
Go the business route. I mean, that's Skims, man. That's major. Why couldn't we have thought of Skims?
Let's stay on the Jenners, Kardashian Jenners.
I mean, I could talk about the Kardashians all day.
Okay, Kylie Jenner.
I heard about this.
Has come out and said she's really hurt and she cried and she's unhappy because people online have been saying she's not pretty. First of all, this is a woman who
is gorgeous.
Is A, gorgeous, B, a billionaire, and C, they sell sex. They are like sexy and hot. I always joke that they're like the Gabor sisters.
I could see that.
Where they're these beauties and they have these marriages and they're, the whole thing. Now, Kylie knows better than to be in the comments. But we're all stupid and we all get sucked into that rabbit hole and it sucks.
It's hard, and the thing is, like, for the people that follow you, you want to read the good comments. Like, I like to respond to comments because, like, you want to
They don't
say
let me.
Thank you.
They don't let me.
That's smart.
Yeah. Every now and again I look and I'm like, ah! But that's why you don't look. But I'm shocked that Kylie, who is known as a beauty, but you would think she would feel so secure. And there's something very real about the fact that she doesn't.
There's something real about, and also, I mean, I just want to say, you look at my followers, your followers. I mean, how many followers does Kylie have? Like, what is it? Like hundreds of mil, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So the amount of comments, like, you're told to stay out of your comments. I look at my comments. The amount of comments she gets per post is like 20,000. Like, it's really, you're looking at all these comments. I was most shocked about that. Right?
I was too, but
it makes her real.
I think we also forget how young Kylie is.
She's young.
We forget how young she is. Again, double-edged sword. She's also a billionaire at a very young age.
I was just going to say, when you have $1 billion, that we age you because we assume you've been working forever.
But again, on one hand, it makes her very real. On the other hand, from a business perspective, not good if you're selling cosmetics.
No.
Not good for business. But I think she's going to be fine.
I think she's going to be. The Kardashians are always fine.
Yes,
they are always. Kris Jenner finds a way to just keep it going.
Yeah, but you don't want to see someone break down over something that is completely untrue.
Right. That makes sense. Gorgeous.
Yeah, but again, hard to feel sorry for her.
$1 billion. You know what?
She has her own plane. That's what gets me, is I always want my own plane, or at least access to a private plane.
I was just going to say, if someone would like to give me $1 billion, you can say the most horrendous things about me.
I do not care. Say what you want, because I'll be crying quietly on my yacht.
You want a plane. That's the thing you want.
A yacht.
Okay.
By the way, I don't even need to own these things. I just want them whenever I want them.
Okay. I'm going to think of who I know with a private plane.
I'd give a kidney.
That's your main thing. I mean, I guess now that you're saying it like that, I think that's probably the thing I want too.
But by the way, because if you can have your own plane or afford to continuously charter your own plane, you can probably afford then to charter a yacht whenever you want. I feel like they go hand in hand.
The yacht, I can take or leave.
But you can just charter it for a couple weeks or a month in the Med or a month in the Caribbean and be like, my mother always said, when they say it's better, what my mom always say, they always say, I'd rather be, oh God, but her whole thing was, I'd rather be unhappy on my yacht.
Yeah.
Oh, money can't buy you happiness. And she always said, yes, but I'd rather be unhappy on my yacht.
That's 100% true. I'd rather be unhappy on my private plane.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be happy anyway, what's the difference?
If you're unhappy anyway, you can at least be unhappy in a nice house. Speaking of unhappy.
Yes.
Your girl Bethenny, Frankel, and Chanel. A bit of a dust-up, as one would say.
Bethenny has a lot going on these days, right?
Yes, she does. And she just posted some picture in a bikini, and her body is ridiculous.
Bethenny keeps it in shape, doesn't she? She's in the Hamptons this summer. She's doing a lot of posting. Yeah, she had a little moment with Chanel. I still think it's like Bethenny is just trying to see what sticks. I don't really understand. This is a phase of Bethenny I don't understand.
Yeah, because the Andy Cohen thing, she was the ringleader on that. It didn't stick.
No. Then she's had other things that didn't stick. The Chanel thing, it took off for a minute. It really became, and then she kept going. She went to the Chanel store in the Hamptons, and she really doubled down, and it was quite amusing. I find Bethenny very amusing.
I find her very smart as well.
Yeah, very smart. But now, where do we go with this? Like, I just feel that was
I'm sorry, I will never buy Chanel again. I will only now buy
Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton. I mean, there's kind of no end game to it. And if you remember, this is not the first time things have happened to people like that. I remember when Hermes in Paris wouldn't let Oprah in.
I don't remember that.
Oh, you don't?
No.
It was a huge deal. And
interesting.
Let's just say Hermes was extremely embarrassed.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, not letting in Bethenny, not letting in Oprah. I mean, I don't know. One seems worse than... I mean, in Chanel's defense, now, of course, my brand is Louis Vuitton, so I'm going to only ride hard for Louis. But, like, I'm not mad at Chanel. But, I mean, there are, like, in New York City, like, you do, at times, need an appointment, really, because of a lot of looting and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, there is someone at the door, and if you don't have an appointment, and this was in Chicago, so it's not like, it is a policy some places. And she was dressed in like sweats.
But the joke
Which
is
I don't
usually the
think that
people who
matters.
spend the most money are the ones who roll in.
Yes.
So, Taylor and Travis all over. He was just on stage. They went Instagram official. So, I'm in Philadelphia at QVC doing my Q50. And so I'm having dinner with my cousins and Sabrina because Sabrina went with me and my cousins live just outside of where QVC is. And my cousin Andrew says, I got this funny story to tell you. And I'm like, okay, what? So when he and his wife first moved to the area where they live, which is a very small town, they were really young. He was just out of med school, the whole thing. They didn't know anybody. And one of the doctors in the practice that he was joining said, you know what, my kid's in a musical in high school. Come with me. And they're like, oh, we're not going to go to somebody's high school musical. He's like, you're going to meet other people. So they went, okay, fine, we'll go. And it was The Sound of Music. And he says, oh, well, I was really impressed. It was, for a high school musical, I was really, really impressed. He goes, but that one girl playing Liesel, man, that girl is fucking talented. Guess who it was?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Now, did your cousin know? Like, does he know?
No, he was like, she was like in ninth grade.
But even now, like, does he know? Or did you have to have your moment and scream and say, that was Taylor Swift?
I said, are you kidding me? He's like, no. Like, I remember looking at that play going, wow, really impressive. But that one girl, wow. And then it turns out that her brother, later on, was in little kid wrestling with their son, Eric. And they would always see the mom picking them up. But how about that? He's like, I saw Taylor Swift in The Sound of Music.
Okay, first of all, he could have been best friends with Taylor's parents.
Exactly. But I love the fact that he was like, wow, that one girl.
Even then.
Super talented.
Even then.
Even then. So I kind of love that I have this sort of very tangential.
Is this your connection to Taylor Swift?
This is my official connection to Taylor Swift, which is really just a big giant backdoor kind of way to get to Jason Kelce.
You should have gone to the concert when she was here at SoFi.
And said, my cousin saw you in The Sound of Music, and he even then saw your talent.
I'm sure she would appreciate
Is that not like the best story?
Listen, you have that. You had the mother at QVC. You're like slowly making your way in, Melissa.
A little bit like black mold.
You're making your way in. I mean, on a very similar note, that's amazing. I have been hanging out with Luann from the Housewives this summer, and which I knew, she said, like, coming to her show, Lourdes, Madonna's daughter, does go to see the Countess when she performs her cabaret in New York. Somehow it came up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm never this person, but I mean, Madonna's not going to be there. The next time that you do this and you know Lourdes is coming, I need to be there then. Same thing.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what my plan is, but there's going to be a plan. So I fully support this.
But is that not like the greatest?
That is crazy.
And I said to him, like, how could you have never told us this story before?
Yeah.
Because he was like, I don't know, because we were driving by the area where the high school is.
And her parents are still there, right?
I know.
No?
I think they've all moved. But
I don't know.
How about that?
Listen,
my cousin had an eye for talent.
Too bad there wasn't phones back then.
Yeah.
He could have
And just randomly, they got sucked into going to his practice.
Okay, well, that's a good...
So if anyone asked you to go to their kid's high school show,
say yes.
Say yes, because you never know. You could see Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, Northwest. Who knows?
David, always so much fun.
This was a busy one this week.
It was.
We'll be back next month, though.
Absolutely.
Bye.